with radiologists and imaging specialists to understand the data we got from the CT scans. We see interesting differences between the two mummies. When we look closely at the scans of their skulls, we see that the 2,900-year-old mummy has a hole in the bone behind her nose where the brain was removed during the mummification process. The 2,400-year-old mummy doesn't have such a hole, and her brain is intact. Another interesting difference between the two mummies is their internal organs. When we look at their abdomens, we see that the organs of the 2,900-year-old mummy were removed, wrapped, and put back in her body. The linen bundles helped keep her skeleton together, making her look more lifelike. The 2,400-year-old mummy's organs were left inside. The result is that some of her bones collapsed, and her organs, although shifted, can be identified. Specialized software allows us to segment the imaging data and see amazing detail in objects added during the mummification of the 2,900-year-old mummy. Markings on the metal foil that covers the incision where her organs were removed and replaced were clearly identified as the eye of Horus, a symbol of protection, power, and good health. 4 small wax figures with metal pieces represent the 4 sons of Horus. Each looks after an organ bundle. In addition to the CT scan, we took samples of one of the mummy's eyelashes and did isotope analysis. From that, we found that her diet was typical of the time. We also used X-ray fluorescence to analyze the pigments on the mummy's coffins and drilled small holes for samples to use the wood. Comparing radiocarbon dates from the wood and the linens, we confirmed that neither woman was buried in the coffin she's in now. These research studies have allowed the museum to revise and expand previous conclusions about the 2 women who lived long ago in Egypt. We now recognize that the differences between them reflect common mummification practices at the times of their deaths, about 500 years apart. Medical imaging techniques, X-ray fluorescence, isotope analysis, radiocarbon dating, and even breakthroughs in DNA testing. All of these technologies allow us to better understand Egyptian mummies, other ancient cultures, and ourselves. As technology continues to advance and new discoveries emerge, who knows what else we need to learn? Only time will tell. Separated the lives of 2 women who lived in ancient Egypt. Long after their deaths, around 2,900 and 2,400 years ago, their mummified remains made complicated journeys to the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. We knew very little about them when they arrived. Technology allows us to learn about the 2 women, to look inside their mummies without disturbing their wrappings. Medical imaging has revealed that both mummies, although quite different, are excellent examples of mummification practices common when they died. Hi, I'm Dr. Michelle Coons, Curator of Archaeology at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science. We partnered with Children's Hospital Colorado and National Jewish Health to look inside the 2 mummies. We carefully transported the mummies to Children's Hospital, where radiologists conducted high-resolution CT scans. The scans gave us detailed digital data that medical imaging specialists can weave together to give us 3-dimensional views inside the wrappings of the 2 women. We worked with radiologists and imaging specialists to understand the data we got from the CT scans. We see interesting differences between the 2 mummies. When we look closely at the scans of their skulls, we see that the 2,900-year-old mummy has a hole in the bone behind her nose where the brain was removed during the mummification process. The 2,400-year-old mummy doesn't have such a hole, and her brain is intact. Another interesting difference between the 2 mummies is their internal organs. When we look at their abdomens, we see that the organs of the 2,900-year-old mummy were removed, wrapped, and put back in her body. The linen bundles helped keep her skeleton together, making her look more lifelike. The 2,400-year-old mummy's organs were left inside. The result is that some of her bones collapsed, and her organs, although shifted, can be identified. Specialized software allowed us to segment the imaging data and see amazing detail in objects added during the mummification of the 2,900-year-old mummy. Markings on the metal foil that covers the incision where her organs were removed and replaced were clearly identified as the Eye of Horus, a symbol of protection, power, and good health. 4 small wax figures with metal pieces represent the 4 sons of Horus. Each looks after an organ bundle. In addition to the CT scans, we took samples of one of the mummy's eyelashes and did isotope analysis. From that, we found that her diet was typical of the time. We also used X-ray fluorescence to analyze the pigments on the mummy's coffins and drilled small holes for samples to date the wood. Comparing radiocarbon dates from the wood and the linens, we confirmed that neither woman was buried in the coffin she's in now. These research studies have allowed the museum to revise and expand previous conclusions about the 2 women who lived long ago in Egypt. We now recognize that the differences between them reflect common mummification practices at the times of their deaths, about 500 years apart. Medical imaging techniques, X-ray fluorescence, isotope analysis, radiocarbon dating, and even breakthroughs with DNA testing, all of these technologies allow us to better understand Egyptian mummies, other ancient cultures, and ourselves. As technology continues to advance and new discoveries emerge, who knows what else we'll be able to learn? Only time will tell. 500 years separated the lives of 2 women who lived in ancient Egypt. Long after their deaths, around 2,900 and 2,400